guys, we're doing Seven Devils Volcanics in Idaho. This is Cannon,
Jenna,
and Morgan.
Seven Devils Volcanics is found in a stretch of land that spans 40 miles along the Oregon and Idaho border. It's home to many peaks, but the 7 main peaks are as follows. There's the He Devil, which is the highest peak, roughly 9,400 feet. The She Devil, the Twin Imps, Horse Heaven, Devil's Throne, the Ogre, and the Pyramid.
what did the He volcano say to the She volcano?
I lava you.
Dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star.
In the Seven Devils area, the primary volcanic rock types we have are as follows. So predominantly there's mafic rocks, there's basaltic, and it's a typically extrusive igneous rock consisting of plagioclase feldspar, pyroxene, and olivine. And then there's also basaltic andesite. It's a volcanic rock containing 55% or more of silica. Other rocks found in this area are oceanic sedimentary, greenstone, diactic volcanic rocks, and gabbroic rocks.
I see trees of green and red roses too. I'll watch them bloom.
This geologic region is the result of volcanism, tectonics, and sedimentation that occurred later within and around the vicinity of the volcanic arcs at converging plate boundaries.
Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of
The region is comprised of mainly volcanic rocks, which are largely glaustic. These rocks came mostly from andesitic flows, which give it the dark coloring, typically black, green, gray, or even darker shades of red and brown.
Did you hear the one about the geologist?
Yeah, he took his wife for granted, so she left him.
The other source comes from the many metamorphic rocks formed from tuffs that became greenstones, quartzite, small intrusive bodies of limestone, large rhyolitic flows, and other conglomerates. Andesite composes most of the Seven Devils topography, but there are exposed areas of limestone between the Snake River and the Red Ledge Mine. There is also a considerable amount of quartzites, mainly focused around the southern section of the formation. Sedimentary and mostly well-sorted conglomerates are not as abundant, but are found mostly in the northern portion.
And the sky turned black like a perfect storm.
This composition indicates that the formation started underwater, then rose with andesitic flows, which pushed up a lot of sedimentary material, explaining the cornucopia of sedimentary material and conglomerates. Semi-recent basaltic flows override some of the region's older rocks. Though it is mostly solid, it can be somewhat vesicular, allowing for intrusive formations.
Nothing left to do.
The primary ages of the rocks in this geological province are from the Permian and the late Triassic period.
So I punched a hole in the roof.
The basaltic flows that compose the formations occurred underwater, pushing sedimentary material upward in a gentle bend that made the rest of the rock forms in a shallow body of water before creating the landmass we know today. The rocks solidified entirely sometime in the early Jurassic period.
One heard a thing. Rain came pouring down.
Overlying much of the original volcanic material is a conglomeration of limestone and shale. The limestone has been metamorphosed into marble and the shale into pholitic material, which is rich in mica and very compact.
I think I'm finally clean.
Most metamorphism occurs in a process called metasomatism, which is essentially a chemical change in a rock due to hydrothermal activity, which is vast and abundant in this region of Idaho and also the surrounding states. This process caused many of the tuffs and flows of lava to be transformed into greenstone, granodiorite, and gabbro. This chemical reaction formed much of the landscape in subtle ways, producing feldspar, quartz, pyrite, and smaller amounts of metallic material.
Very worst. When the flowers that we grow.
The mass amounts of limestone, marble, and granite are inhospitable for most ore deposits. However, the irregular spaces created by shearing forces allow for metals to be present.
Was drowning, that's when I could finally breathe. And by morning, gone was any trace.
The metallic material in the area is mostly copper, which was the focus of mining efforts until the mid-1950s or so. The copper was formed from the contact and chemical reaction of the diorite and the limestone. Aside from that, the silicified shear zones supplied dikes of iron, which have also been utilized for mining. Lead, tungsten, gold, and silver ore can also be found in more sparse concentrations. Though the topography is made of tremendously dense material, it has been eroded by numerous branching streams, which give the structures a jagged and intimidating look.
The structural features in this area are mainly due to glacier movement. The effects of glaciers are evident everywhere in the upper regions of this range, where there are dozens of prominent cirques and some 30 mountain lakes.
There must be someone up above. Say, come on, Brittany. You got to come on now. You got to hold on.
These features came a relatively long time after the formation of the rocks. Considering the glaciers that created the cirques and lakes are young in comparison to the original lava flows.
Bless my heart and bless yours too. I don't know where I'm gonna go, don't know what I'm gonna do.
The previous description of the formation of Seven Devils may have scientific evidence on its side, but a much older legend from the Nez Perce tribe describes a very different variation of the story. Long ago, when the earth was relatively young, there were 7 giants who roamed the land, larger and stronger than any other life force on the planet. These creatures were malicious and were notorious for eating children. The tribal leaders, out of fear for their tribe's safety, decided to ask Coyote for help. While forming the plan, Coyote requested the help of his close relative, the Fox, who said they should start by digging 7 large holes. All the woodland creatures dug until the holes were complete. Coyote and Fox then filled these gaps with a boiling caustic solution and waited. The time for the giants to march eastward had finally arrived, and they fell into the pits one by one. Coyote told them of their punishment and changed them into mountains, as to remind wicked creatures of their fate.
You got to get back up. You got to
It's weird.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Seven Devils, this is a group, and Morgan, and take 3. Alright.
know well I'm a chicken fried. And cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit